So, just got home from the movies. I went and saw Assassination Nation tonight. It was not completely terrible, um, though not particularly spectacular in any way. It's a movie that's about this town, Salem, in the United States, where everyone sort of goes crazy after all of their social media posts get shared with everybody else, and people go crazy. Start things they start getting violent with each other, and start trying to figure out who did it. The movie sort of inhabits this strange place of trying to be serious and fantastical or surreal at the same time, and then adds a sort of third leg of moralism in there as well. And I suppose perhaps the best films are able to navigate that divide well. And in this way, this film was not successful. It was sort of mostly too reality based or trying to be too realistic to be particularly interesting. And the times that were sort of more surreal or fantastical were uh, were interesting, but I don't think they went far enough to make the whole movie worthwhile. There were a few, artistic touches that I thought were interesting, or a few nice photographs in the film. Some good gratuitous violence and some beautiful women. That's both of which are always nice in that sort of exploitation film. Um, it took a strange turn when it took a moralistic turn. One of my least favorite things in movies is when the director or writer, I suppose, or the whole team feels this need to just come right out and just tell you outright what their moral message is or their political message is. Maybe that's me. I didn't really get what this movie's message was supposed to be, and it came out in a very odd way. There was just sort of this. The movie was trying very hard to be about something very important, about our society's need to share everything on social media, and I suppose perhaps the risks associated with that. But none of those issues were dealt with in a particularly interesting or in-depth way, um, except for murder, in a sort of gratuitous and fantastical way. So it tried to be very heavy and serious in that way, though it was clearly not heavy and serious in most of its style, which when it did work, it had a bit of a bit of lark to it and a bit of fun to it. And I just find films that are like that so bothersome when they try to get moralistic, just because it takes me completely out of the film. And I don't really care what the writer or director's morals are, and they usually have very little to do with actually telling the story or the problems that the characters are facing. It's really just it's manipulative. It takes you right out of it, and in this film in particular, I just don't. There was in particular a sort of speech from one of the main characters, and I really don't know what the point of it was, which just sort of made it even less interesting, um, and in particular with it coming, right around the climax of the film, it sort of ended on a anticlimactic note in a way. So that's pretty much it. That's Tuesday night at the movies for this week. Next week, I think I'm going to see that new film with Matthew McConaughey. I can't remember the name right now, but next week I will. Bye bye.